I need to say something that might upset a few people, but it could save you hundreds of thousands of naira. You do not need an agent to get a job in Canada. I am going to say that again because I want it to sink in. You do not need to pay anybody 300,000, 500,000, even a million naira to help you secure a Canadian job offer. Everything, and I mean everything, that a legitimate agent does for you, you can do yourself, for free, using official government platforms and a smart strategy. In this video I am going to show you exactly how to find and secure a real, legitimate Canadian job offer from right here in Nigeria, without paying a single agent. I will show you where the real jobs are posted, how to build a resume that Canadian employers actually respond to, how to understand the LMIA process so nobody can scam you with fake promises, and how to protect yourself from the agents and fixers currently taking advantage of desperate Nigerians. This is a long video because I am giving you the complete playbook. Get comfortable, let us go. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Praise and I run Social and Travels, a travel and migration support company that helps Nigerians navigate visa applications and international relocation. I want to be very clear about something before we start. I am not against immigration consultants who do honest, transparent work. Professional help has value when it is legitimate. What I am against is the explosion of fraudulent agents and fixers who are taking advantage of Nigerians' desperation to leave the country, promising guaranteed Canadian jobs for huge upfront fees and then disappearing, or worse, providing fake documents that destroy people's immigration future. This video exists to take that power away from the scammers by giving you the actual knowledge to do this yourself. Let us get into it. Before we get into the how, let me explain the what. Because understanding the system is what allows you to navigate it without needing anyone to hold your hand. When people say, get a job in Canada, there are actually two distinct pathways depending on the kind of job and the kind of employer involved. Pathway 1, the LMIA-backed job offer. LMIA stands for Labour Market Impact Assessment. This is a document that a Canadian employer must obtain from the Canadian government before they can hire a foreign worker for most positions. The LMIA proves to the government that the employer genuinely could not find a qualified Canadian citizen or permanent resident to fill the role, and that hiring a foreign worker will not negatively affect the Canadian labour market. Once an employer has an approved LMIA, they can extend you a job offer, and you can use that job offer and LMIA to apply for a Canadian work permit. Pathway 2, the LMIA-exempt job offer. Certain categories of jobs and certain programs, such as the Global Talent Stream for specialized tech roles, or intracompany transfers for people already working for a multinational company with a Canadian branch, do not require an LMIA. These pathways are generally faster but apply to a narrower set of circumstances. For most Nigerians pursuing a Canadian work permit through a direct job offer, you are looking at the LMIA pathway. And here is the critical thing to understand. In 2026, employers hired roughly 230,000 temporary foreign workers under the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. That is a substantial number of real, legitimate opportunities. These jobs exist. They are real. And they are not hiding behind paid agents. They are posted on official platforms that anyone can access for free. The scam problem: why so many Nigerians think they need an agent. I want to spend real time on this section because I think it explains why this video is so necessary right now. There is a thriving and aggressive scam industry specifically targeting Nigerians seeking Canadian job offers. These operations typically present themselves as job links or recruitment specialists with direct access to Canadian employers and LMIA-backed positions. They advertise on Instagram, WhatsApp groups, Facebook, and through paid social media ads. They use language like 100% guaranteed LMIA, or claim to have connections at Service Canada. I need to tell you clearly, any offer that includes the phrase 100% guaranteed LMIA or claims to have insider connections at Service Canada is either outright fraud or an unlicensed operator seriously misrepresenting how the process actually works. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can guarantee you an LMIA. The LMIA is assessed and approved by the Canadian government based on the employer's specific labour market need. No agent, no matter how connected they claim to be, controls that government decision. Here is how the scam typically unfolds. Fake company letterhead and forged documents are extremely common in this space. Scammers copy the logos and formatting of real, recognizable Canadian employers, companies like Tim Hortons, Loblaws, Marriott, or major construction firms, and create offer letters that look completely legitimate at first glance. They charge you an upfront processing fee or documentation fee, often hundreds of thousands of naira, and then either disappear entirely or string you along with excuses about delays. The pattern is consistent. Real LMIA jobs and the employers who post them do not advertise on Instagram, WhatsApp groups, or through pay-per-click social media ads. Genuine Canadian employers recruit through specific, identifiable channels, which I am about to show you. If someone approaches you through social media claiming to have a Canadian job ready for you, that itself is the first red flag. How to protect yourself right now. If anyone tells you they have direct access to Canadian employers or guaranteed LMIA jobs, verify their credentials independently. Check the company's official career page directly or call the HR department using the phone number from the company's official website, never the number provided on the offer letter itself. Most large legitimate employers will confirm or deny whether they actually issued a specific offer if you contact them directly. If an offshore agent based in Nigeria, or India, the Philippines, or Pakistan, claims insider access with no verifiable Canadian business registration, that is a structural risk you should walk away from immediately. Now let me show you exactly where legitimate Canadian job opportunities are posted, for free, with zero agent involvement. Platform 1. Canada's Job Bank, jobbank.gc.ca. This is the single most important resource in this entire video. The Job Bank is the Government of Canada's official employment platform, operated by Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC. This means it is backed by the full resources and authority of the federal government. It is completely legitimate, completely free, and specifically designed to connect job seekers, including international applicants, with real Canadian employers. Here is what makes the Job Bank so valuable. Foreign workers can apply for jobs listed on the Job Bank if the employer is open to hiring international applicants, and many of them explicitly are, because they have already gone through or are willing to go through the LMA process. The platform includes job alerts, a resume builder specifically calibrated to Canadian employer expectations, and labor market information that tells you exactly which occupations are in demand in which provinces. To use the Job Bank effectively, you need to understand something called your NOC code, the National Occupational Classification Code. This is a standardized code that categorizes every occupation in the Canadian labor market. Determining your specific NOC code, your NOC skill type, and your TER level, which stands for training, education, experience, and responsibility, is essential because it will help you determine which jobs you are realistically qualified for, which immigration pathways you may eventually be eligible for, and what kind of opportunities exist for your specific profession. Search NOC code plus your profession on Google, find your exact code, and use it as a search term on the Job Bank. Create a profile, build your Job Bank resume using their Resume Builder tool, set up job alerts for your specific NOC code and preferred provinces, and check the platform regularly. New listings are added constantly. Platform 2, LinkedIn, the professional networking goldmine. LinkedIn is not just a place to post your CV, it is one of the most effective tools for direct outreach to Canadian employers and hiring managers. Here is how to use it strategically rather than passively. Optimize your profile completely. Professional headshot, a clear headline stating your profession and the fact that you are seeking Canadian opportunities, and a detailed work history. Join LinkedIn groups specific to Canadian industries and Nigerian Canadian professional networks. These groups often share job leads directly. Follow Canadian companies in your target industry and engage genuinely with their content. And critically, do not just apply to job postings. Identify hiring managers, recruiters, or department heads at companies you are interested in and send personalized, professional connection requests with a brief message about your interest and qualifications. This kind of direct outreach significantly increases your visibility compared to simply submitting an application into a large applicant pool. Platform 3, Indeed Canada and Glassdoor. These are major private job platforms with extensive Canadian listings. Pairing JobBank with private portals like Indeed, LinkedIn, or Glassdoor gives you a significantly broader view of opportunities and networking options than relying on any single platform alone. Use the same NOC code knowledge and keyword strategy across all of these platforms. Platform 4, Direct Company Career Pages. For companies you specifically want to work for, particularly larger employers with established histories of international hiring, go directly to their official career page rather than relying solely on aggregator platforms. Many companies post jobs on their own career site before or in addition to posting on JobBank or LinkedIn. Search for company name, Careers Canada, and check their listings directly. This also lets you verify that any offer you eventually receive from that company is genuine. Platform 5, Industry-specific and sector job boards. If you are in a specific high-demand sector, healthcare, skilled trades, IT, trucking, agriculture, there are often dedicated job boards and associations specific to that industry in Canada. For healthcare, this might be provincial nursing or medical association job boards. For skilled trades, this might be specific trade union or apprenticeship board postings. For IT, this might be specialized tech recruitment platforms. Research the specific sector boards relevant to your profession. Section 4. Building a Canadian-style resume that actually gets responses. This is one of the most important sections of this video because I see Nigerian applicants make the same resume mistakes over and over, and these mistakes alone are enough to get an application rejected before a human even reads it properly. Mistake 1. Including personal information that Canadian employers do not expect. A Canadian resume typically does not include a photo, your date of birth, your marital status, or other personal information that is common and expected in Nigerian or many other countries' resume formats. Including these can actually work against you. Canadian hiring practices are built around avoiding discrimination, and including this information can make hiring managers uncomfortable or flag your resume as not adapted to the local market. Mistake 2. Using a generic, one-size-fits-all resume. You must tailor your resume and cover letter to the specific job requirements for every single application. Highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to that specific posting and explicitly explain why you are a strong fit for that particular role. Generic resumes sent to dozens of jobs without customization get filtered out, often by automated systems before a human ever sees them. Mistake 3. Not using your NOC code strategically. Once you know your NOC code, use the language and terminology associated with that occupation classification throughout your resume. This helps both automated applicant tracking systems and human recruiters quickly understand exactly where you fit in the Canadian labor market. Here is the exact structure to use. Start with a professional summary, 3 to 4 lines summarizing your professional background, your key skills, and your career objective specific to the Canadian market. Follow with your work experience in reverse chronological order, with bullet points emphasizing measurable achievements rather than just listing duties, for example, increased efficiency by 30% rather than just managed daily operations. Follow with your education, listing your degree, institution, and graduation year. Include a skills section highlighting both technical and soft skills relevant to your target role. And include any certifications, especially ones recognized internationally or specifically valued in the Canadian market. Use the official JobBank Resume Builder. This free tool at jobbank.gc.ca is specifically calibrated to what Canadian employers expect and produces an ATS-friendly document, meaning it is formatted to pass through applicant tracking systems, the automated software many companies use to filter applications before a human reviews them. Using this tool removes a huge amount of guesswork from the formatting process. Write a strong, specific cover letter for every application. Many Nigerian applicants skip the cover letter or use a generic template. A strong cover letter explains specifically why you are interested in that company, how your specific experience addresses their specific need, and demonstrates that you have actually researched the company rather than mass applying. Build Canadian experience where you can, even before you arrive. Take on freelance opportunities, remote contracts with Canadian companies, or relevant certifications from recognized institutions. Demonstrating any form of exposure to the Canadian professional environment, even remotely, adds credibility to your application. Build a strong LinkedIn presence and participate in virtual professional events or webinars related to your industry in Canada. I am going to walk you through exactly how the LMA process works from the employer's side, because understanding this process in detail is the single best protection against agents who lie about it to extract money from you. Step 1. The employer identifies a genuine need. A Canadian employer has a position they cannot fill with a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. This could be due to a skills shortage, a remote location, or specialized requirements. Step 2. The employer advertises the position. To obtain a positive LMIA, employers are typically required to advertise the job for at least 4 weeks and demonstrate genuine efforts to hire Canadian citizens or permanent residents first. This is a real requirement, not a formality. The employer has to show they made a real effort domestically before looking internationally. Step 3. The employer submits the LMIA application. The employer applies to Employment and Social Development Canada, providing detailed information about the position, the wage being offered, and evidence of their recruitment efforts. For every job position being requested, employers must pay a 1,000 Canadian dollars application fee, and this is per position, not per application. If an employer is requesting approval for 10 positions, the fee is 10,000 Canadian dollars. This fee is paid by the employer, never by you as the prospective worker. If anyone ever asks you to pay an LMIA application fee yourself, that is an immediate red flag. Step 4. Government review and decision. Service Canada reviews the application. Processing times can range from a couple of weeks to a few months depending on the occupation and circumstances, though certain high-demand, high-paid, short-duration occupations qualify for accelerated 10-day processing. There is no way to speed this up through a paid agent. The processing timeline is determined entirely by the government's review process. Step 5. The employer receives the LMIA decision. If approved, the employer receives a positive LMIA, which they can then use to formally extend a job offer to a specific foreign worker, potentially you. Step 6. You apply for your work permit. Once you have the job offer and a copy of the LMIA, you apply for your Canadian work permit through Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. You submit your application online through the IRCC portal, or on paper at a visa application center depending on your country of residence. Required documents include the LMIA approval letter, your job offer letter, and your standard application materials. Important regional nuance to know about. From April 2026 through March 2027, there is a temporary measure raising the cap on low-wage temporary foreign workers that rural employers can hire to 15% in participating provinces and territories outside major metropolitan areas. This means that opportunities in smaller towns and rural areas of Canada may currently have more flexibility than opportunities in major cities, something worth considering as you search. Also important, some low-wage LMIA applications get refused before processing entirely if the job is located in a metropolitan area where the unemployment rate is 6% or higher at the time of application. This is public information published by Service Canada and updated every 3 months. Understanding this dynamic helps you understand why certain regions and certain job categories are more accessible than others at any given time. Understanding every one of these steps means that when someone calls themselves an agent and tells you they can fast-track your LMIA or guarantee approval for a fee, you now know enough to recognize that what they are describing simply does not match how the actual system works. I want to connect the job search process to the bigger immigration picture, because a Canadian job offer is not just about working temporarily. It can significantly accelerate your path to permanent residency. Express entry is a points-based system for skilled workers and is one of the fastest ways to secure Canadian permanent residency. Under Express entry, you create an online profile, complete supporting documentation, and receive a comprehensive ranking system score based on factors including your age, education, work experience, and language proficiency. Eligible candidates with high scores receive an invitation to apply for permanent residency. Here is the critical connection. A valid Canadian job offer significantly boosts your CRS score, and certain provinces actively nominate skilled workers with job offers through their provincial nominee programs, which adds an enormous point boost that essentially guarantees an invitation. This means that securing a legitimate LMIA-backed job offer through your own research and application, exactly what I have shown you in this video, does not just get you a temporary work permit. It can be the single most powerful lever for accelerating your permanent residency application. To prepare for express entry alongside your job search, you should also be working on your language test results, IELTS or CELPIP, since valid scores are required and influence your CRS score significantly. Your educational credential assessment, the ECA, which verifies that your Nigerian degree is equivalent to a Canadian credential. And in 2026, regulations place heavy emphasis on category-based selection, meaning your specific NOC code is vital not just for job searching but for determining which express entry draws and categories you may be eligible for. Doing your job search and your express entry preparation simultaneously, rather than treating them as separate, sequential processes, is the strategy that gets people to Canada fastest. Let me give you a structured plan so you know exactly what to do and when. Week 1. Foundation. Determine your exact NOC code and TR level for your profession. Create your job bank profile and build your resume using their official resume builder. Set up your LinkedIn profile completely, including a professional headshot and a clear, specific headline. Week 2. Document preparation. Begin your educational credential assessment process if you have not already. This takes time and should start early. Research the language test requirements for your target pathway and book your IELTS or CELPIP test date if needed. Gather your employment reference letters and any professional certifications. Weeks 3 and 4, active search begins. Set up job alerts on Job Bank, Indeed, and LinkedIn for your specific NOC code and target provinces. Begin applying to a meaningful number of relevant positions weekly, not randomly, but to positions that genuinely match your qualifications. Begin direct outreach on LinkedIn to hiring managers and recruiters at companies in your target industry. Weeks 5 through 8, sustained momentum. Continue your application volume consistently. Follow up professionally on applications after 1 to 2 weeks if you have not heard back. Continue building your professional network through LinkedIn engagement. Research specific companies with histories of international hiring and prioritize your applications toward them. Ongoing, express entry preparation in parallel. Continue working through your ECA, language tests, and document preparation throughout this entire period so that the moment you secure a job offer, you are ready to immediately leverage it for your express entry profile. Throughout the entire process, vigilance. Continue to verify any opportunity that seems to come through unofficial channels. Stay within the official platforms and direct employer channels covered in this video. If anything ever asks you to pay money upfront for a guaranteed outcome, walk away. Section 8. What to do once you have a real job offer. Once you receive a genuine job offer, here is what happens next. Verify the offer independently before celebrating. Contact the company directly through their official channels to confirm the offer is genuine, especially if it came through any third party at any point. If the position requires an LMIA and the employer has not yet completed that process, Understand that this step takes time and is entirely managed by the employer and the Canadian government. There is nothing for you to pay or expedite on your end. Once the LMIA is approved and you have your formal offer, gather your work permit application documents and submit through the IRCC portal or at the appropriate visa application center. Processing times for work permits typically range from 8 to 16 weeks, though this varies by your country of residence and the specific pathway. Begin planning your actual relocation, but only once your work permit is approved, never before. And that is the complete playbook. No agent needed. Everything from finding real job postings, to building a resume Canadian employers actually respond to understanding the LMIA process well enough that no one can lie to you about it, to connecting your job search to your bigger permanent residency strategy. This is the same information, the same platforms, and the same strategy that legitimate immigration professionals use, except now you have it for free, directly from me. I want to be honest with you about something important. This process takes real effort and real time. It is not instant. It requires consistency over weeks and months. But it is achievable, it is legitimate, and it puts you in control instead of putting your future and your money in the hands of someone who might be lying to you. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with every Nigerian you know who has been considering paying an agent for a Canadian job. This information could save them real money and real heartbreak. Subscribe to the channel because I post visa guides, migration strategies, and immigration updates specifically for Nigerians every week. Drop your profession and your target province in the comments. I want to know what you are working toward, and I read every single comment and will respond with specific guidance where I can. And if you want professional support navigating this process, document review, application strategy, or general migration guidance, reach out to Social and Travels. The link is in the description. But know this, even if you never work with me professionally, you now have everything you need to do this yourself. Go get that job. See you in the next video.